Just move that.
I can't. I keep telling you I can't. I told you it was too short.
Hang on, because I've got to get my leg around the dog as well. Right. Well, hello everyone. One of our subscribers a month or so ago asked us if we would do a Q&A, something about us, because we'd been on the road for over 12 months. Now, we did do a video after we'd been on the road for 6 months, but this is kind of just a bit of an up-to-date position. And we thought we'd start with, from both of our perspectives, because we are two different people.
Definitely.
So we both have different ideas, but we thought we'd start with 3 things that we think are good about van life, and then 3 things that are not so good about van life, and then we'll cover some questions that we've been asked by various people. They're quite the kind of questions that come up more than once when we're just generally chatting to people. So, Sue, do you want to kick us off with what are your 3 good things?
The first one I would say is definitely visiting different places.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to some absolutely gorgeous places that we would never ever have been to if we hadn't been on the road.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's definitely one of the first.
Yeah. I think my first was freedom. And I think that's the same thing, isn't it? It's that ability to not plan too far ahead and then just pick a route that takes us to some places we've never been to before.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
And we're generally looking for, and we have said this before, but we're generally looking for anything that's got good running for Sue and good walking for the dogs. And walking for the dogs has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, even as close as 2 years ago, we'd have been hiking up mountains. But we can't do that anymore because of Archie. He's getting old, so we've just got to change things.
We'll just adapt.
We just adapt a bit. What's your number 2?
Well, you've already mentioned it. That's running routes. So when we're back at home, I used to do the same running routes over and over again. But now we're on the road, I have the opportunity of exploring different areas and finding some wonderful running routes.
Now, you say that, but how is it, because you're going to be entering the Great North Run this year? Well, you've entered the Great North Run, and you're going to run for Dementia UK. How's that going to affect your training plan?
Well, it's obviously going to have to be a bit more structured, so I probably won't be running with Fudge quite so much.
Oh, lucky me.
So you'll have to take her out. But yeah, I'll need, as I say, I need to be a bit more structured with my running, and just rather than just going out running for the sake of it and enjoying it, I'll have a training plan to do.
So being in different places might add its own little challenges to that.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's your number 3 then?
Number 3, you haven't done your number 2.
Oh, I haven't done my number 2. Hang on, I've got to get my glasses and read. Oh, my number 2 is being outdoors with the dogs all the time. If you think back to before retirement when we were both working, we always had a dog walker that would come round at lunchtime and take the dogs out for a walk. Sue she's like Zebedee in the morning, so she just bings out of bed and has always gone off running with the dogs. And actually, Archie could still, when you were working, Archie could still run with you, couldn't he? So that was fine. And then it was generally you again that walked them in the evenings, because I was always a little bit later getting home. And then we'd take them, obviously we'd be with them and walking with them at the weekends. So for me, it's about having, we're pretty much 24/7 with the dogs now. And I love that.
Yeah, no, so do I.
What's your number 3 then?
I think from having worked for 30 years in quite a stressful job, it now means that when we're out on the road, it's just stress-free, and we can just relax and enjoy our time together with the dogs.
Yeah. With me?
Yeah.
Aren't you lucky?
Yeah.
Carry on.
No, that's me finished.
Have I thrown you?
That's me finished.
All right, so for me, it's I put number 3 is just making these videos, and I know I'm not brilliant. There are some fantastic YouTubers out there who are brilliant at this, and I still feel like I'm playing, and I am playing because I'm doing it for fun, but I really do enjoy making videos, and then I sit for hours, don't I, with my headphones on, editing and trying to pick the right music.
Well, I'm doing all the jobs.
All the inside jobs.
And some outside.
Which outside?
Bins.
Bins, yeah, it's not really. I mean, it's an inside job, and you just take it to a bin that might be outside. But anyway, that's what I enjoy doing, and it kind of takes me away, and it makes me giggle sometimes. You know, I'm watching a video that we've made earlier. I may have seen one a week or so ago where we were away with friends, and it was so funny at the time, and then watching it back just took me back to fun. So it's good. I like it. That's my good. Now, what's not so good? You got a number one not so good?
Yes. I found during the winter months where Kath and the dogs have been, well, during the summer they generally are outside, but during the winter months they've been inside the van.
We've been in with you.
And trying to clean the van when you've got Kath and 2 dogs in the van has been a bit of a nightmare. But I've managed to cope with that. But I think maybe next winter I might just force them out while I'm cleaning it.
So you've heard it here. We are going to be kicked out in the cold and the wet and the wind, trudging around while she cleans the van. Fortunately, it doesn't take that long. My number one?
Yep.
Clambering. It's probably a similar theme, actually. Clambering and tripping over the dogs whilst we're moving about the van. So we've got 2 Labradors, so they're fairly big dogs. It's a small space. Archie's bed is actually down here, down here right by my feet at the moment. And the number of times I trip up as I'm trying to stride across him without stepping on him. And then Fudge's bed we keep at the back, at the bottom of the stairs, and the same thing in the night when I'm getting up to have a wee in the middle of the night, remembering that Fudge is on the ground and not to step on her. That's living in a small space, isn't it? Number 2?
Number 2 is, although Kath enjoys doing all these videos, wherever we go, she's videoing us all the time. So we can't go into any city without her standing in the bus queue, talking to herself on camera. Whenever we go out for a walk with the dogs, we have to stop. And so she can video everything, which Archie particularly doesn't like. And when she gets her drone out, I've now got to keep the dogs away because Fudge nearly caught it in the air, and so did Archie.
Yeah, that is true. They don't like the drone, so I need to be away from the dogs when I'm doing the drone. But I'm not videoing all the time.
You are.
She's exaggerating.
You are.
So my number 2, emptying the toilet. Every day. Emptying the toilet, and I do empty it every day whether it needs it or not. And some of these YouTubers that say they can last 2 or 3 days, I don't know how they do it. Maybe we've just got massive bladders and we put a lot of liquid in or something. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3 is Archie's medication.
Oh yes,
I know
that's your stress, isn't it?
I know we've mentioned it before in some of the other videos. But yes, every time he needs his gabapentin has been a real problem. We've managed to sort out the rest of his medication by when we drop by to the vets, and they are very accommodating and give us probably more than what we actually need for, say, like a month or 2 months. Especially with his Librela, they give me 6 months worth. The Librela is an injection that he has for his arthritis. But yeah, the gabapentin has been particularly difficult.
Yeah. Actually, one of our subscribers has recently given us something that we haven't tried, which is to ask our vets to email the prescription to a vet's local to where we are and see whether they will dispense it. So we've done the pharmacy route, and that's really random. Some will, some won't. Some want pink paper, some want email, some will accept email from the vet, some will accept us forwarding it on, some won't accept it at all. It's really random, which means it's really stressful because we'd hate him to run out of it. But we've not tried that one yet. So
No, we'll give that one a go.
Thank you to Anna for making that suggestion, and we will definitely give that a go. My number 3, Wi-Fi signal. TV signal a little bit, so we've got digital TV and sometimes it's rubbish, but if we've and that's fine because we've got an Amazon Fire Stick, so we can still watch most things on that, but the Wi-Fi signal, so if I'm trying to upload a video, gosh, that's so stressful if I haven't got any signal. Anyway, but we are going to get something put on the roof which will hopefully improve things. We've kind of managed, haven't we?
You do get very stressful and very moody.
Well, it's so important, isn't it? To me, anyway. So anyway, that's my 3rd thing. So I would say overall, definitely the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If you can hear any noise outside, we've got some kind of helicopter floating by. I think we might be near a military airfield or something. This morning, we were just in a cafe and there were 3 big aeroplanes going over us very low. So we are filming this a few days, 2 days before the King's coronation. So maybe they're practicing for that or something. Anyway, I'll wait. Let's wait till it's gone. Hopefully we'll be.
I presume you can just cut this out.
I can probably cut this out, unless you say anything really interesting, which I'll leave it in.
No.
Okay, so I'll run through some questions now that we've been asked variously over the last, 14 months or so. The first one that always comes up is how do we get on with each other when we live in such a small space, and we are together all the time. We used to go to work and get a break, didn't we? I'll let you go first on this one, definitely. How do we get on?
Well, we get on really well. And I suppose I go out running most mornings. In fact, 6 out of 7 mornings a week. And it gives me...
She's very moody. She's not been out running.
And it gives me my own space. And it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. So yes, so for me, that's... having our own interests, and obviously you do your videoing.
Yeah.
Put
my headphones on and drown her out.
Which also gets her out my hair. So no, I think for me it's having our own time to ourselves rather than just being 24/7. Our own interests.
Yeah. So even though we're in the same space all the time, we do get out separately because I take Archie. I think fresh air as well, you know, whether we're together or we're not together, fresh air is a tonic for everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're still irritating though.
And sometimes we do enjoy each other's company.
Every now and again. We've always enjoyed each other's company when we've not been work or busy, and now we're not work or, not really busy in the, people who work would say we're definitely not busy, and I would agree. So... not having much stress in your life means that, I don't know if you do reduce stress, you just stress about different things, and sometimes the things you stress about are just trivial really, aren't they, in comparison to, a year or so ago. But anyway, we do get on. Most of the time we bicker a bit, don't we?
Yeah. I think that's just normal.
Yeah. And Sue's very irritating and I'm almost perfect. Is that right?
Well,
right.
We'll leave it at that.
Second question, we get asked this loads, is how long will we carry on? How long will we carry on, living in our van and travelling?
Well, at the moment we've got no end date. I mean, we are sticking around the UK at the moment, mainly because of Archie and his medication, and we want to make sure that we can continue to keep him as comfortable as we can with his arthritis. And at some point we will head over to Europe and tour around Europe.
Yeah. So that's it. You know, I guess the short answer, the answer we give to people is until we're fed up. And I'm certainly nowhere near fed up at the moment. It is such a lovely lifestyle. And actually everyone we meet, because we do, you know, we meet people wherever we go, and, you know, particularly in the summer when people are out and about, you end up chatting to loads of folk. And we haven't met anyone yet that, you know, we wouldn't be happy to meet again and have a chat with. Everyone, particularly in this community, and, you know, whether they're doing it full time or not. Actually, most of the people we meet are not doing it full time. They're, you know, they're away for the weekend or on the summer holidays or other holidays. But they're all just lovely people.
Yeah, no, they are.
Which is nice. Yep. Right, the next question is, do we have any plans to go to Europe? And we've kind of answered that one. Yes, we do. We would love to spend a lot more time in Europe. We're just a little bit reluctant at the moment because of Archie. And we probably, you know, people will say you don't need to be, because, you know, we can probably even get the gabapentin, probably buy it over the counter in France. But I think we just feel a bit more comfortable being, you know, in the UK whilst Archie's still with us and still healthy, so we can get his medication. We're both skiers.
Yeah, and we'd love to do a ski season.
We'd love to do a ski season in a place that we've skied a lot of time before, and we know where the motorhome park is.
We do.
It's ski in, ski out. It's absolutely perfect. But we're putting that on hold for now. When we do eventually get round to that, hopefully we'll still be making videos and we can show you what fun we have.
The reason we haven't done it at the moment is because with Archie's arthritis, the cold wouldn't be very good for him.
No.
And with the temperatures during the summer, that wouldn't be good for him either.
So we need to go spring and autumn. We do, because we've got to do 30 days, haven't we? No, sorry, 90 days.
Yeah.
So we could do spring and autumn in Europe and winter and summer in the UK.
We'll wait and see.
Just as a thought. Anyway, will we ever return to bricks and mortar?
Yes, I think we will do.
Yeah.
Not to the home that we've left. We will eventually sell that. And as we're travelling around the UK, we're mindful about where we would like to settle down. We've both got our different views on when we settle down. But obviously when we come to that point, we'll
have a punch up and see who wins.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, we've still got our house. We've stopped calling it home really now, which is a good thing, because when I wasn't really ready to sell it. It's been our family home for a long time, and you know, our son grew up in it from about the age of 5. So it's got all those memories of him, and it's a place that he calls home, because he's currently living there and looking after it for us whilst we're travelling. And you know, it's still our home address. But yeah, it is about, you know, one of the byproducts, not why we're travelling, but one of the byproducts is we do get to. Gosh, there's definitely a lot of air activity. Oh, we've got a helicopter going over now. Yeah.
Looks like a police one.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
We'll send the police after us now. We'll just wait for that to go over. They might not be able to hear it anyway, like our microphones. But anyway, yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's just about home, isn't it? So I wasn't ready to sell it. Sue didn't want to rent it out, which we could have done. So actually it's an arrangement that works for all of us, because, you know, Dan's living there. We're still, you know, going back there to pick up, you know, we can get parcels. You know, it's our base, even though actually we've not slept, we've not had a night there, have we, since we left on the 2nd of March last year. So 2nd of March 2022 was when we left. Yeah. So yes, bricks and mortar, we will, but we're not in any hurry to do that. So last question that I scribbled down. By the way, if anyone's got any more questions that we haven't answered, then please put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to get to them, and maybe do another one of these in the future. So anyway, last question, and we get this asked a lot, is do Archie and Fudge enjoy this new lifestyle? There's a real simple answer to that, isn't there?
Yes, they definitely do. when we were working, obviously, we'd take them out 3-4 times a day, but in between that, they would be left on their own in the house. Now they're with us 24/7, and they absolutely love when we turn up to a new site and they go out and they explore the new area that we're in. Now to the extent that if one of us goes away, they get separation anxiety.
They do.
So they like us all to be together.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't worry about one of us leaving the van, but if we're on a walk and, you know, one of us is usually me hanging back to take photographs or take a bit of video, then Fudge in particular is looking back and hanging back and just a bit worried that we're not all together. But at the van, they're great, aren't they? And this is home for them now. So the other thing I find quite remarkable is we generally are in different places, but over the last 12 months, we have probably on half a dozen occasions been back to somewhere that we've been to once before or been to lots of times before, you know, before we were retired. And they remember. Well, Archie in particular.
Fudge not so much.
Yeah, he's definitely the intelligent one.
Yeah, he is.
The old boy. Yeah. Wisdom and intelligence. Yeah. And the young girl, she's just, I don't know, an airhead. A wild child airhead. But equally as lovable. Yeah. So thanks very much. I hope that's been interesting to you. As I say, if you've got any further questions, then, you know, please chuck them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. Usual stuff, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and, well, we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.